Good evening, and thank you for tuning into Lewis University Television Network. Today is April 24th, 2026. I'm Brandon Jarrah.
And I'm Christian Kluber.
Gas prices essentially are holding steady. AAA reports regular is averaging $4.02 a gallon, down a fraction of a penny from Tuesday. Oil prices, however, appear to be creeping up. The global benchmark, Brent crude, is back to fluctuating close to $100 a barrel. WTI is moving roughly around the $90 mark. Those numbers are significant increases from Tuesday. The change follows reports of Iranian attacks on container ships. It also comes after the White House called off the vice president's trip for ceasefire talks with Iran. President Donald Trump says on social media he's extending the truce. He says he's waiting on what he calls a unified proposal from Iran. Trump also says he's continuing the U.S. blockade in the Strait of Hormuz.
A gray whale found dead near Alcatraz this week is renewing concern among marine experts who say whale activity in San Francisco Bay has been unusually high. To address the growing risk, the Marine Mammal Center and several partner organizations are all part of the Blue Whale Blue Skies program, which expanded Monday under a new California law. It's been around for more than a decade, actually, and the initiative offers incentives for shipping companies to slow their vessels, reducing the likelihood of deadly strikes. Supporters of the Whales Blue Skies say the program has already reduced the risk to some whale species by about 40%. And cut more than 250,000 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions along the California coast.
President Donald Trump's newly appointed head of the Kennedy Center is defending the decision to close the art institution for 2 years. Matt Floca told reporters on Wednesday that it was his idea. The Kennedy Center is set to undergo renovations over the next 2 years. However, officials with the venue say patrons may not see much of a difference in the physical look of the building when it reopens. Donors and members of Congress have been a part of recent tours of the Kennedy Center in order for officials to prove the needs for renovations. Reports also got a tour. Some of the planned upgrades to keep the building in working order include repairing water damage and steel beams that have corroded. The renovation is expected to start in July at the cost of $257 million. President Trump's takeover of the Kennedy Center's board has stirred controversy. A hand-picked board of trustees voted to add Trump's name to the venue. In the past year, there have been high-profile artists pulling performance along with declining ticket sales.
Officials in Florida say an immigration agency defrauded hundreds of undocumented immigrants out of more than $20 million. The accused agency, Legacy Immigra, has been shut down. Authorities arrested the founder, his wife, and 2 associates. They were charged with racketeering, organizing fraud, extortion, and unauthorized practice of law. The Orange County Sheriff accuses the agency of running a criminal enterprise while claiming to help undocumented clients get legal status in the U.S. Authorities fielded complaints, and the agency falsely claimed its staff were qualified immigration attorneys, then charging high fees for fraudulent or improperly filed applications. The sheriff said the agency did legitimately help some people, but exploited and extorted others.
In this church in Shreveport, Louisiana, the community came together Wednesday for a vigil to remember the lives of 8 children. The vigil only days after the tragedy that played out Sunday. Authorities say Shamor Elkins shot and killed the children at ages 3 to 11 years old. He was the father of 7 of the victims. Police say the gunman also shot his wife and another woman who was the mother to 3 of his children. They are expected to survive. Police shot and killed Elkins Sunday morning after responding to the scene. The shooting was the nation's deadliest in more than 2 years. Up next, international news. We'll be right back.
It is a new day for jobs and careers, and the skills needed to compete are rapidly changing. This is why more students are choosing Lewis University. Lewis prepares you for emerging opportunities in some of the most highly sought-after fields. Higher education is the most crucial investment you can make in your future. Lewis provides you with a lasting education that will launch you towards success today and strong, growing careers of tomorrow. Begin an education that will pay dividends for a lifetime. Learn more at lewisu.edu.
For over 50 years, WLRA has been on air showcasing countless students. As the first all-digital college radio station, Lewis University students are given access to industry-leading equipment that commercial stations utilize, equipment that creates, and equipment that brings radio to life.
I like WLRA because it gives me the opportunity to get experience with news broadcasting and working with radio.
Stop by De La Salle 210 or at WLRA Radio to get started on your radio career.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
A Canadian woman was killed and 6 Americans were injured when a gunman opened fire at a tourist destination in Mexico. The shooting happened Monday near the Teotihuacan pyramids, about 30 miles outside of Mexico City, and at least 13 people were injured. 8 of them were still in the hospital Monday night, and the gunman had a Mexican identification card. He took his own life after the shooting, and investigations believe he acted alone.
Iranian state media claims control of the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian state media says new video shows ships transiting the Strait of Hormuz with permission from Tehran. Iran's IRGC Navy is said to control access, requiring authorization for entry into the Persian Gulf. The United States has ordered a blockade targeting Iranian ports. Iran initially declared the waterway open, but the IRGC later reimposed restrictions. Tehran has returned the Strait of Hormuz to wartime footing, banning unauthorized vessels and military transit.
On Wednesday, Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps said that it seized 2 vessels in the Strait of Hormuz and transferred them to Iranian waters. The IRGC claimed that the ships didn't have proper authorization. This comes after President Donald Trump extended ceasefire Tuesday between the U.S. and Iran, but said the U.S. blockade would continue. The White House press secretary in a TV interview said the president doesn't view the IRGC's announced seizure of the 2 vessels as a ceasefire violation. Caroline Levitt called it piracy, noting the ships are not American or Israeli. Iranian media said a 3rd vessel, a Greek-owned ship, was also reported targeted by the IRGC and was disabled off Iran's coast. Regarding the blockade against Iran, U.S. Central Command says U.S. forces have redirected at least 31 vessels to return to port or turn around. Most of them are oil tankers.
A 7.7 magnitude earthquake strikes off northern Japan. The earthquake triggered short-lived tsunami alerts and heightened megaquake advisory. Japan Meteorological Agency says megaquake risk rise from 0.1% to 1% for the next week. Officials stress the advisory isn't a prediction, but an urge to preparedness in 182 coastal towns. Prime Minister Sanaki Tiki calls on residents to review evacuation plans and emergency supplies. Bullet trains between Tokyo and northern Japan have been temporarily suspended.
4 officials were killed in a Chihuahua crash after anti-drug operations. 2 U.S. Embassy instructors and 2 Mexican agents died in a car accident in Chihuahua. Mexican when victims were part of a security training program between the United States Embassy and Chihuahua State Investigation Agency. AEI Regional Director Pedro Ramon Saveras and bodyguard Manuel Gerardo Mendez Montes among the dead. The crash occurred on Chihuahua Ciudad Juarez Highway after an operation targeting a Palestinian drug lab. Authorities say the group was returning from a raid in the municipality of Morelos. U.S. instructors were in Mexico as part of an ongoing security cooperation efforts. We'll be right back with your local stories. Stay with us.
Like it's not international news.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my 3rd child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused.
A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out that self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and your mental health.
Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
All right, look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
LUTV anchor and reporter Christian Kluver had a chance this week to gain an exclusive interview with Lewis University President David Livingston. He reflects on his past 10 years as university president and the legacy he hopes to leave behind.
From leading through change to shaping the future of an entire campus, Lewis University's 10th president, David Livingston, has left a mark. And now, as he prepares to step away, we're taking a look back at the legacy he leaves behind him.
I think what I'm most proud of is and there's probably been 15,000, 16,000 graduates that have walked across the stage, and that people learn what they want to learn, they make all these relationships, and then they leave and they go out and change the world.
For years, President David Livingston has led Lewis University through growth, change, and challenging moments in higher education. And for him, it's the students and their impact beyond campus that define his legacy.
My hope is that the legacy is that Lewis is one of those places that will thrive in the future because it's got the right kind of people with the right kind of attitude, and it's willing to stay focused on its mission, but also be able to change how we are as a university and what we do, so that we can really meet students where they are.
But his presidency didn't come without obstacles. Navigating a global pandemic forced the university to adapt quickly, redefining how students learned and connected.
Probably the biggest challenge was COVID. We had 2 weeks to put 2,100 classes fully online and get all the faculty ready to do that, and then deal with moving people out and back home, and that for me was incredibly challenging. And I think we did a really great job, because being online is really hard when you're used to not being online. It's a really difficult challenge.
And through it all, it was personal stories that left the biggest impact. Students who nearly lost their opportunity, but found a way to finish and move forward.
There might be only 2 semesters away, and everything's going like they want it to, and then all of a sudden they just can't afford tuition. And of course they talk about how they were in tears because they really loved Lewis, or they were on this team, or they were just about to, graduate. Because part of what I do is go out and raise money for those scholarships. And then they talk about what they got the money, they stayed in school, and now they're they're an ICU nurse, or they're a principal of a grade school, or they're flying.
A community built on relationships, one that Livingston says makes Lewis stand out.
When I went to college, I fell in love with the college environment. It's just one of those places that is hard to find after you leave. A university community is just a special place. It's a unique part of the whole economic world. And so leaving it and not being here, I think it's what I will miss most. It's hard to replace what a university context is, and Lewis is a special place.
After years of growth, leadership, and impact, Lewis University's 10th president is leaving behind a legacy that will be remembered for years to come. For LUTV News, I'm Christian Kluver.
I think it's nice to see how enthusiastic he is about the students and just helping out the university.
For sure. It is definitely something I knew I was going to do all year when I found out this was going to be his last year, and now that we were approaching The end of April, about to be early May, now is the time. So it was so great to sit down with him in his office and hear his personal stories and everything that he said. Even my camera girl that was with me, we agree that Lewis is just such a special place, that the faculty are really here for us. And it was so great, like I said, getting to sit down with him before he leaves here and leaves his legacy behind him.
Yeah. This week, the Village of Romeoville is reminding residents about spring cleanup efforts taking place throughout the community. Public Works crews are continuing to collect yard waste and prepare neighborhoods for the warmer months. Residents are encouraged to follow guidelines for brush and leaf disposal during scheduled pickup days. Officials say these efforts help keep streets clean and storm drains clear. The village also reminds residents not to blow grass clippings into the street. Spring cleanup will continue through the end of the season.
The city of Lockport is moving forward with spring and summer event planning as the weather warms up. City officials say community events such as outdoor markets, festivals, and family activities are currently being finalized. These events are designed to bring residents together and support local businesses. Officials say the turnout for the past events has been strong and that they expect the trend to continue. Residents are encouraged to check the city's website for upcoming events and details. More announcements are expected to come in the next few weeks. Up next, entertainment with Michelle Stowe.
All right, look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused.
A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out that self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and your mental health.
Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years and I got my third child who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Singer David has pleaded not guilty to all charges in connection with the death of a 14-year-old girl. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office filed murder charges against him on Monday. The 21-year-old performer, whose legal name is David Anthony Burke, was arrested Thursday, 7 months after the victim's body was discovered in the trunk of his Tesla. Authorities say the vehicle had been towed after it was found abandoned near his Hollywood, California home. The victim, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, had been reported missing by her family for more than a year before her body was found. And investigators say key details about what happened to her remain unknown. Burke remains in jail without bail as his attorneys say they intend to fight the charges and maintain his innocence. Former Disney actor Dylan Sprouse and his wife Barbara Palvin are turning to humor after a frightening situation at their Los Angeles home. The couple says the incident happened late Friday night when Palvin noticed what she described as a creepy guy on their property. Concerned for their safety, they quickly contacted police. Authorities responded and arrested the man on outstanding warrants. Sprouse, best known for his role in The Suite Life of Zack and Cody, says he can now laugh about the experience. He added that thankfully no one was hurt during the incident. Tuesday marked 10 years since the death of music icon Prince, and his hometown is planning a major tribute to his legacy. Organizers in Minneapolis say this year's celebration of life will be a multi-day event honoring his impact on music and culture. The tribute will take place at Paisley Park, his former home and studio that now serves as a museum. Festivities begin June 3rd and lead up to what would have been his 68th birthday. The city will also host a free all-ages sing-along near a downtown mural dedicated to the legendary performer. Prince died in 2016 at the age of 57. Christina Applegate is speaking out for the first time following reports of her recent hospitalization on Monday. The Emmy Award-winning actress thanked fans for their support, saying she's taking time to focus on her health. Applegate was reportedly hospitalized last week but hasn't shared additional details. She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2021. Earlier this year, she said she spends much of her time in bed due to pain from the condition. Applegate also released her memoir, You with the Sad Eyes, last month. Cardi B received a memorable surprise during a recent concert stop in Atlanta. The rapper was gifted an autographed copy of former President Jimmy Carter's book, White House Diary, by his daughter, Amy Carter. While it may seem unexpected, fans know Cardi B has a strong interest in political science and history. She has previously spoken about her admiration for Franklin D. Roosevelt and Eleanor Roosevelt. The Grammy-winning artist also made headlines after speaking at a rally for Kamala Harris in 2024. Cardi B shared her excitement on stage, saying, quote, "This is Jimmy Carter's signature. Can you believe that?" Up next, news in the medical world with health correspondent Sharon Sherian after these messages.
For over 50 years, WLRA has been on air showcasing countless students. As the first all-digital college radio station, Lewis University students are given access to industry-leading equipment. Equipment that commercial stations utilize, equipment that creates, and equipment that brings radio to life.
I like WLRA because it gives me the opportunity to get experience with news broadcasting and working with radio.
Stop by De La Salle 210 or at WLRA Radio to get started on your radio career.
Oh, right. Look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Residents of Bangor and Maine can breathe a little easier now and later too. The small city in the Pine Tree State has been dubbed the cleanest city in the world by American Lung Association. According to the findings, Bangor boasts 0 days of unhealthy ozone and short-term particle pollution. It also has the least year-round concentrations of dangerous particle pollution in the nation. The ALA says air quality is a concern in many parts of the U.S. They say roughly half of the country, about 152 million people, live in areas with unhealthy air and live in counties that have significant air pollution. Amazon is launching a new program to expand access to popular GLP-1 drugs. Amazon One Medical integrates obesity treatment into routine care, combining virtual and in-person visits, prescriptions, and pharmacy services. The company says the goal is to treat weight management as a long-term condition, not a one-time prescription. Through Amazon Pharmacy, medications like Wegovy and newer oral options could cost as little as $25 a month with insurance, or start at $149 without insurance. Injectable treatments begin around $300 a month. Amazon says its advantage is convenience, with same-day delivery and on-demand prescription renewals. British Parliament passed one of the strictest smoking bans in the world Tuesday. Here's how it works. The law will forbid selling tobacco products to anyone born in 2009 or after in the United Kingdom. That date won't change. So it applies to people under 18 years old right now, but in 10 years, it will include anyone under 28 years old. The idea is that within a generation, it will outlaw smoking entirely. It also includes vape products. Lawmakers in Britain have a larger incentive to curb unhealthy habits because the health system is publicly funded. New Zealand tried the same thing in 2022, but it was abolished the following year due to pressure from retailers and the tobacco lobby. The publication of a study showing the positive impact of COVID-19 vaccines has been rejected by the Department of Health and Human Services. Therefore, it won't be published in the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's weekly flagship journal. The study found that COVID-19 vaccines roughly cut in half the chances that a U.S. adult would need to visit the emergency room or be hospitalized with infections last fall and winter. That's according to two sources familiar with the study, which was led by the CDC. But sources say the agency's current head, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, blocked the publication of those findings in the Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report. An HHS official confirmed that the study was rejected. The rejection is unusual because the study followed the normal methods the agency uses to estimate the effectiveness of vaccines. COVID-19 vaccines have been a particular target of the HHS under Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Up next, a look at your local weather with Christian Kluver, followed by sports with Jaden Elmore. We'll be right back after these messages.
It is a new day for jobs and careers, and the skills needed to compete are rapidly changing. This is why more students are choosing Lewis University. Lewis prepares you for emerging opportunities in some of the most highly sought after fields. Higher education is the most crucial investment you can make in your future. Lewis provides you with a lasting education that will launch you towards success today and strong growing careers of tomorrow. Begin an education that will pay dividends for a lifetime. Learn more at lewisu.edu.
Elmer loves to giggle. Elmer's mommy taught him that laughing can help when you have a big feeling, like when you feel happy. Make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it out. Love your mind.
Welcome back, Flyers, to your weekly weather forecast. We are going to start with our temperature changes around the area tonight. Up in Rockford, there was only a 3-degree change, but over in Waukegan, same area up north, there was a 21-degree change. In the city, there was a 15-degree change. Where we are at around that Cicero region, or a little southwest, it was about an 18-degree change. And in Indiana, LaPorte, it was 11, and South Bend, there was a 10-degree change. We get into our 7-day outlook. On Thursday today, it was partly cloudy. Tomorrow, there is going to be a little bit of rain. Same thing, partly cloudy. 70 as our high. The weekend's going to be a little bit chillier. 54 as our high on Saturday, 57 on Sunday. There is going to be some clouds and a little bit of sun as well. On Monday, same thing. There is going to be some rain. 67 as our high. Tuesday, Wednesday, partly sunny. A little bit of clouds as well. 62 is going to be our high on Tuesday, and 57 as our high on Wednesday. We're going to pass over to Jen Elmore with sports.
The world's top athletes gathered in Madrid on Monday for the Laureus Sports Awards, where Carlos Alcaraz took center stage. The 22-year-old Spaniard was named Sportsman of the Year, becoming just the 4th male tennis player to earn the honor after Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Novak Djokovic. Alcaraz is coming off a dominant 2025 season, reaching 3 major finals and winning both the French Open and U.S. Open. He now hopes to chase a 3rd straight Roland Garros title next month, though his status remains uncertain as he undergoes tests this week for a wrist injury. Alcaraz spoke after the ceremony about the award and highlighted that his focus for the meantime is to recover in time for the clay court season. The Lewis University's men's lacrosse team comes in at number 5 in the first NCAA South Regional rankings after securing the second GLVC regular season title in program history. The Flyers went 11-3 with 4 ranked wins and are our highest ranked GLVC team in the South region. Tampa topped the regional list, followed by Wingate, Lenore Ryan, and Florida Tech just ahead of Lewis. The Flyers also hold head-to-head wins over 3 other ranked teams, Newberry, Rockhurst, and St. Leo. With the top 10 teams advancing to the NCAA tournament this year, Lewis is positioned well entering the postseason. The Flyers open the GLVC championships tomorrow at 1 p.m. against number 4 seed UND, with the tournament hosted right here at Lewis. Lewis University's Denise Hernandez has been named the All-GLVC Women's Outdoor Field Athlete of the Week after a record-breaking performance at the Brian Clay Invitational. It marks her second outdoor weekly honor of the season as she continues a dominant spring campaign for the Flyers. Hernandez placed 3rd in the long jump invitational in Azusa, California, hitting 6.39 meters, a mark that currently ranks number 1 in the nation. The jump further solidifies her status as one of the Division II top horizontal jumpers this year. Hernandez has now posted national level marks in multiple meets this outdoor season. The Flyers return to action at the GLVC Championships held April 30th through May 2nd in Bolivar, Missouri. It's now the end of an era for the Chicago Bulls. Head coach Billy Donovan has stepped down after 6 seasons with the team. This decision was announced on Tuesday morning, despite the organization expressing their interest in bringing him back. In his final statement, Donovan says, "My gratitude for this community and this organization is permanent." During his time in Chicago, Donovan had a 226-256 record and missed the playoffs yet again. Other teams have expressed their interest in him during the season, but Donovan remained with the Bulls, though the end of his contract. Donovan plans to continue his coaching career, but is unsure as to where he will go next. The 2026 NFL Draft kicks off today in Pittsburgh, and excitement across the city is already building. Businesses on the North Shore are preparing for 3 days of concerts, crowds, and nonstop football fans. Local restaurants say they're treating the week like a sold-out Steelers weekend, only bigger, as they add outdoor spaces, booth staffing, and stock up on food and drinks. Visitors are already arriving, including families turning the draft into a full week experience. Many say the energy around the city is unlike anything they've seen. Round 1 begins tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, and 5 p.m. Pacific, with the rest of the draft running through Saturday. That's it for sports this week. We'll be right back with Brandon and Christian right after this.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my 3rd child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
All right, look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
That's it for today's news. As a reminder, you can always keep up with Lewis University Television Network on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and by visiting our YouTube channel. I'm Brandon Najera.
And I'm Christian Kluber. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week.